Utilizing perhaps the greatest visually pleasing engine of all time, combined with the most interactive world space ever, Red Dead Redemption 2 is not just a game, but a simulation. When I first picked up the game, I was met by something I'd never seen before. A truly interactive experience with the most realistic outlook. Somehow I was inclined towards playing the game non-stop. I wanted to immerse myself into actually being Arthur Morgan. I wanted to not just run across the world, but walk around in character and take in the setting. The snowy atmosphere of Ambarino was the perfect place to start off the game. The atmosphere that met me in the snowy beginning was out of this world. From the way the snow touched your coat to how the snowy atmosphere set the stage of a beginning, a journey. When I started playing, I not only wanted to find out where the game was going to take me, but I soaked in every moment that I could. I wanted a perfect playthrough. I was inclined towards actually playing everything to perfection, because I didn't want the illusion of the world and how the game led me to be ruined. After finishing the game's introduction, I reached Valentine, the perfect small town really paying service to the Western genre. When I reached the small town or outpost, whatever you want to call it, I really got to appreciate a small break from the high-paced beginning of the game, and I again soaked in the atmosphere. I took to the store to buy a pack of cigarettes, and when I walked into the store, it felt like I was transported into the past. Walking through the door in a balanced pace, and walking to the shopkeeper for them to interact with him and make certain small talk fitting the time. The shop was decorated with a plethora of inventory, again fitting the time, and I bought what I could afford. After this, I walked out of the store, smoked one of my cigarettes, and went to the local bar to then buy me a steak. Again, after this I took to playing poker. All of this I did out of my own inclination. I wasn't pushed at the very least. Well, not directly. As a matter of fact, I was pushed towards this by how the game was just so well set up. The beautiful sceneries, the inclination towards actually taking in the atmosphere. When I walked around in the world space, the small nuances present really scream out something else than just completing objectives and gaming. I was actually so immersed to the world space that it felt like something more than just a game. Walking around in, for example, Valentine, it feels like taking in a lost time. The whole place just feels alive, from the fact of how the pedestrians interact with you, to the way the dirt touches your boots. Taking in the atmosphere draws you in to this cycle of not wanting to, break from simulation. And this is largely due to how it takes advantage of the great Rage engine and utilizes this vast real-like world and then creates an experience that draws you in from all angles. From the sounds of distant dogs barking or hearing birds chirping, to taking in beautiful sceneries unrivaled in the gaming industry, to the way Arthur Morgan moves, all in sync with realism. You just can't stop playing and easily investing hundreds of hours into it without batting an eye. The true art of Red Dead Redemption 2, I'd have to say, is putting you in Arthur Morgan's shoes, and while being placed in them, applying his motives and own beliefs upon you. This makes it so that your actions have a fuel-driven foundation. When you pick up your gun, you do so with a motive and a goal. You shoot for a reason, and so you are driven by Arthur's motives. This is reflected in every aspect of the game, making this game, yes, somewhat of a simulation. You aren't omnipresent at all, like in certain games like Assassin's Creed, where you don't really have a connection to the character and his actions. This placing of you into the game then makes it so that you view the game from inside of it. You are actually placed into the world, and this happens automatically, and without you knowing it. You are properly immersed into a world that's realism rivals even the real world. And how this rivaling evolves into the next 10 years of gaming, I can't really imagine, and the thought strikes me and baffles me. Here we reach the simulation aspect, and how Red Dead Redemption 2 sets the stage for a new generation of games, taking use of its techniques in creating a new era, where games transition into ultra-realism, not only in their graphics, but in their core.